Hi dear students, in this session we are going to see about weather forecasting. Before entering into our title, let us just clear what is the difference between weather and climate and what is forecasting and weather forecasting. We all know weather is nothing but it is a day to day or hour to hour condition of the atmosphere. It may be a sunny day or it may be a day with a heavy wind. So those are weather conditions. Whereas climate is an aggregation of weather for a longer period of time. That is, it may, for example, let us take a season, summer season, winter season. So for a longer period, we call it as climate, and for a shorter period or day to day, hard to have, we call it as weather. And you all know the general meaning of the term forecasting is nothing but predicting what is happening to what will happen in the future, and then disseminating that information to a general public. If we disseminate an information on weather condition, we call it as weather forecasting. Temperature of a particular day, sunshine hour in a particular day, wind speed of a day, and humidity. So these are some of the examples which we can forecast. Okay, to whom through which means we have we'll get the forecast. And from this slide you can see a person reading the news report. This kind of picture, this kind of scene you would have seen in a day through in your televisions, where your news readers forecast the weather of a particular day. Apart from television and news readers, what are the other sources where you can get information on weather? Are you can get through radios, newspapers, websites, even in a mobile phone, the screen itself, we are getting information on the weather of a particular day. Apart from this, we have a lot of social medias, your voice assistants, which are available in most of our homes. From all these things, we can get a weather information of a particular day. Okay, so to whom this weather forecast is very useful. Apart from agriculture, this weather forecast is very useful to general public, fishing, mountaineering, shipping, offshore drilling, even defense services. Okay, for how come general public gets benefited about by hearing this weather forecast is the information on this weather forecast help them in planning their daily activities, their travel, their outdoor events, etc. And for fishing, you all know fishermen. For fishermen, it is very important for them to understand or to see the weather forecast before entering into the sea, to know about if there will be any rough condition in the sea, or there is any forecast for storm, so that they can avoid fishing on that particular day. And for mountaineering, and for the people climbing on mountains, for the persons climbing on mountain, the information on temperature, snowfall, wind and visibility is very important, because it will help them to reduce the risk of avalanches and other sudden weather changes that is happening above the mountain. And when you see the climate, cyclones, flood and drought. And for cyclones and flood and drought, the forecast on all these cyclones, flood and drought provides early warning to take up the weather decision thing to prevent us from this effect of this cyclone spread and drought. And for the government and public services, it will help the authorities to plan the disaster management if there is any forecast on weather disaster and weather event. And for shipping and mercantile and naval people, it supports them for safe navigation and route planning. And for offshore drilling, it helps safety of the offshore people working there because of the high waves or storms or severe weather condition. And for defense services, it will support the military operations, movement of the logistics, etc. And for aviation, civil and military, it is very helpful for them to take off, landing, everything. And finally, when you see the agriculture, forestry and animal, it supports decision on from base operations like sowing and then irrigation, fertilizer management, pesticide application, etc. And also it helps to manage the livestock, forest related activities, etc. So this weather forecast is not only helpful for agriculture people, it is also useful in almost all the peoples in all the departments of the society. And when you see the types of weather forecast, there are majorly three types of weather forecast. We call it a short range weather forecast, medium range weather forecast, and long range weather forecast. And this short range weather forecast is further divided into nowcasting and very short range weather forecast. Short range weather forecast is nothing but it is only up to 72 hours, and it is also helpful to farmers, marine people, other general public agencies, because up to 72 hours it is offer. And that nowcasting means the weather condition which is happening in the next 1 or 2 hours, we call it as nowcasting. And very short range weather forecast is up to 12 hours, we call it as very short range weather forecast. Okay, when you see the this nowcasting is a forecasting for immediate future, we call. So particularly for the next few hours, we call it as nowcasting. For example, if the radar indicates there is a thunderstorm approaching in our district, for the within the next 1 or 2 hours, the farmers can postpone pesticide spraying or protect the harvest produce from the effect of this wind. And when we see this very short range weather forecast, this very short range weather forecast extends up to 12 hours. And an example where it will be used in agriculture is, if the rainfall is expected for the next 6 to 12 hours, farmers they can decide not to irrigate or not to spray any pesticides or chemicals in the field, so that it will get easily washed away in the rain. When you see this medium range weather forecast is very helpful for the farmers. Even though short range weather forecast is also used for the farmers, the only thing, very major thing which is used for the farmers is the medium range weather forecast. When you see the medium range weather forecast, the information will be for approximately 3 to 10 days. So IMD, they specifically indicates, identify this forecast is very useful for the agriculture planning and disaster management. For example, planning sowing based on expected rainfall, scheduling of irrigation, planning fertilizer application, anticipating the pest and disease management, harvesting operations, deciding the planning the operation based on dry spells or heavy rainfall, like this. An example, we can say, suppose the weather forecast says there will be significant rainfall for the next 4 days. A farmer, he can plan the sowing well before the rainfall starts, so that with the using harnessing the moisture obtained from the rainfall, the crop will get germinated. A simple statement to say, this medium range weather forecast helps us to plan agriculture operations for the coming days. And then lastly, the long range weather forecast. This long range weather forecast is beyond 10 days, and sometimes it is extended up to a month or a season. The very strategic decisions are taken, very important strategic decisions are taken up using this long range weather forecast. And this some examples of this long range weather forecast is planning for cropping season, selecting suitable crop and variety, deciding the crop and resource allocation, planning the weather resources, planning wet and dry season of the particular year, etc. And for instance, let us take an example. If the season forecast indicates that the rainfall which we will be receiving in a particular year will be very below the normal rainfall, the agriculture departments and farmers, they can prepare water saving strategies. And if it is at the middle of the season, we can plan for a contingency plan to overcome all those, and to get more yield and income from the water which we are having and harvesting. So I from this you would have understood what is weather forecast, and the types of weather forecast. Thank you.